was some glitch. All right, so Mr. Abdul, can you please come up and do the necessary thing we're meant to do? Are you there, please? And I'm sorry, I think there is a. Let me try to do the unmuting stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
There's a situation with muting.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right.
Can you all hear me?
You said what?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry for all the delays. Welcome to the 8th edition of the seminar, which is on the being opportunity ready for study abroad. So I'm going to introduce the speaker for today. But before that, I just want to give a rundown of how the program is going to go. So after the introduction, the speaker will have some time to give us some of the great insights that's helped a lot of people to get opportunities of scholarships to study abroad. And after that, we will open the question and answer session where you will have the opportunity to ask various questions from the speaker. So I'm going to go ahead with the introduction of the speaker. Today we have Mr. Oluwatuyi Olowoyeye, a PhD candidate in the Land and Water Resources Engineering at Iowa State University. But before then, he had his bachelor from Federal University of Technology, Akure, where he studied Bachelor of Engineering in Agriculture and Environmental Engineering. Then he moved to Europe, where he had his master's at the University of Debrecen, and now is currently a PhD candidate in the US at the University of Iowa State University. So without further ado, let's welcome our speaker for this tantalizing topic about study abroad. Please, you can go ahead, Mr. Oluwatuyi.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. I'm sorry, I'm not sure you mentioned your name, but maybe I forgot. Okay, so I would be talking today about becoming opportunity ready for study abroad. I'm going to come on video shortly now. And okay, so I'm going to be talking about becoming opportunity ready for study abroad. And I want to appreciate this privilege that I had to present this to everyone that is listening today. I always count this a great privilege when I have the opportunity to talk to you. People who are willing, or young people who are willing to move on and study outside Nigeria. Because one thing that is key is that we also stood on the shoulders of the giant when we were to get scholarship offers. So I want to believe that these are always opportunities to take with all sense of seriousness. So I would appreciate Aminat. I'm not sure she's there anyway, but she probably facilitated my being here, because I'm not sure I know any of the organizers I'm seeing currently on this meeting. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate every other person that have been planning towards making this event a great one. So straight to it, we're going to be doing a couple of things. I would be using Slido as well to ask questions. So I would appreciate if you can get other device that you would use to answer those questions when I bring them up, because those are important. If you don't answer those questions, we'll probably won't move forward. Okay, that's fine. So they touched already on my journey, kind of. So from Nigeria to Europe, in Hungary, where I did my master's, then currently on my PhD at Iowa State. And one thing that is constant on the journey is that I never made the same mistake I made as a bachelor. I mean, when I was doing my bachelor, I didn't make the same mistake when I was doing my master's. Okay, so a lot of things changed. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm talking from experience, talking from the experience of some of the things I was not able to do when I was doing my bachelor's compared to what I did when I was doing my master's program, because the understanding has changed. So I knew I needed to take advantage of opportunities. So the kind of time it took me to get my master's scholarship, it didn't take me that much of a time to get my PhD scholarship, because I've gotten about 2 offers, maybe 3 months before finishing my master's. And all I was just doing was just enjoying the moment. I mean, many of my colleagues don't even have an idea of what they wanted to do next. But as I then already had 2 offers, so I stopped applying at that point, because I knew already that these are the opportunities I have to harness. And that's exactly what I'll be talking about today. But just before we move on, I really want to meet everyone. So drop your name, where you're joining us from. I'm happy to. I'll be reading that just as we move on as well. Then another thing is I would be using Slido just as I said. So everyone kind of try to join the Slido for the series of questions I'll be asking before I move to the presentation proper. Okay. I'm not sure. Can I get an indication that people have been able to join the Slido? If you think you can use the barcode, just simply use the passcode. Just enter Slido, enter this number, and use the passcode, and you're in. Okay. All right. Can I get an indication that people have joined Slido? If you join, just let me know so that I can. Okay. All right. Also, nice meeting you, Nursing Jewish. Okay. Manuel. All right. So anyone already joined the Slido? I need that before I could move on, because I'm probably going to be using that to ask questions before I even move into my presentation.
I'm sorry, sorry. For me, I'm getting to know about this for the first time. So maybe people don't really know what it is. Maybe it's good to have QR code. Some of them don't know or something like that.
Okay, so you don't need to use the QR code. You can just do slido.com and when Slido is going to ask you for username, so you should use 262625161, just exactly what you see on the screen. And the passcode will be what you use. But it's better if you use your the barcode to just enter. But then if you can use the passcode easily, that makes sense. Yeah. I would appreciate it if I can get an indication that people have joined that.
Yeah, somebody joined, and I'm almost there.
Okay, so if you're just joining, you're welcome. So currently we're trying to log on to Slido. Everyone is trying to join Slido. So feel free to join Slido. If you have other device, that would be great. And if you are using your phone and also connected to the Zoom, that's also a great place to be. Just connect to Slido as much as you can. Yeah, that makes some of our discussion really great. Because I'm going to build on some of those things by the time we start our discussion. Awesome. Great, Peter joined. Kester joined as well. Abdul, have you joined? I see you on video.
The moderator has also joined. Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you for joining. Bukola is from Mondo. Have you joined? Okay. So maybe at this point, I'm going to move on. Then it's always great if we have everyone join Slido because, some of the questions that will be happening will be things that would also, numbers will fall some of those questions. Okay, I think I have any comments. Okay, join. Great. So I think we have a good number to kickstart. So the first questions that I want to ask is, why do you want to get a scholarship? I don't need a long statement, just one word. This is why I want to get a scholarship. I don't want to feed everybody. Feel free to say whatever is it that is fueling your passion really to get a scholarship. It could be one word, I don't care what it is, whatever it is, just feel free to drop it. Why exactly do you want a scholarship? I want to jump back, correct. I like that. that was that was really very interesting. So I have access to better educational facilities. That person really is speaking so many English. Okay, to change easier teaching, government, oh my goodness, pay, carry, abroad. Those are not statements that are complete, even though it's one, but it's not complete. But I still love change anyway. But I don't know about government. Tuition, yes, yeah, makes sense. To pay for my education abroad. Okay, that makes sense. But I love the person that said I want to Japan. Hopefully the person will still want to Japan after this, after we finish talking. All right. To get a different education, which is great, to learn more. Yeah, your why is key because eventually it's going to matter even when you're trying to apply for scholarships. Okay, to make change. All right, I think 4 participants are typing. I'll just wait for those to finish typing, then we'll move on. All right, can we mute whoever that is? I don't have host. I don't have host. I don't have host. So let's be prompt to it. Okay. All right. So what else? To gain a knowledge at free cost, which is great. Okay, so I think everyone has done a great job trying to answer that. I really appreciate you turning in this. Yeah, it's great to get different educations to pay for my education abroad. I want to Japan. I just love that. Okay, life-changing opportunity to explore something different from what we have in Nigeria. Costly education abroad. Some people have even started writing things on this slide from their screen. Okay, let's move on. So I really want to know, what stage are we in? Everyone on this call, what stage are you in? Are you an undergrad between 100 level and 300 level? Are you an undergrad between 400 and 600 level? Are you in graduate school? Are you working or you just finished? Whatever your case is. This would also guide my presentation as I continue to present today. So let me just know what that is. Okay. Most people just finished undergrad. I love those people that are between 100 and 300 because this presentation is really going to help you a lot. It's great. Okay. So let's turn that in. We only have 5 people currently. We still need more people. Just finished. Someone is in graduate school. Just finished. Okay, working. We have 1 person working. Oh, we have 2 persons working. Awesome. Most people just finished. They're not in graduate school and they're not working, which is awesome. Okay. So I think I kind of have an idea of what's anyone still trying to answer that? All right, so let's just move on. Okay. So what's your dream country? What's your dream country of study? I know one of the participants is currently in the UK. And sincerely, you're already in a great place. Okay. So what's your dream country of study? US, UK, 2 people, UK now, Canada 1. Everybody is talking about Europe, really? That's interesting. Germany, France, Spain, none of those interest you. Wow. Okay. So I think currently we have 6. Okay. Maybe we'll still have more people turning. If you've not joined, you can still join Slido. Maybe you came late and you are wondering, what are these people doing? Currently, we're just going through some questions that will facilitate our discussion today, because what we have is more of a discussion. So the Slido, if you could just enter Slido, slido.com. You would enter the username. That's the number you can see there. Then your passcode is what you have over there. So easily you can join. You can also use the barcode, whatever works for you. But it's great if you can join and you answer some of these questions, because it will guide our discussion today. Okay, so majority of the people really wants to go to US. Okay, all right, so US, UK, Canada, Europe. Okay, 1 person already compromised and shows you Europe. Nobody is going to Asia, nobody is going to South America, which is something I expect. Of course, I expect that also for Europe because of some of the limitations in Europe. Yeah, Canada. Canada is a great place, but opportunities are limited, which is why many people don't want to go. UK, great. Okay, so majority wants to go to US. That's great. So let's move on. Thank you all for answering my slide. All right. So one thing is this. This is what many people see as opportunities. I mean, you probably heard about different opportunities like Commonwealth, Chevening, Erasmus, Fulbright scholarships. You hear about MasterCard, all of those things, Swedish scholarship. Those are the scholarships that come. So those are the opportunities that comes to mind when you hear opportunities. But really, those are not opportunities in itself. And on this slide, I have links to all of those opportunities, the scholarship itself, African Oxford Initiative. I mean, I just saw that recently. One of my mentee actually got that offer, which was a great offer. So I feel this are what many people always think as opportunity, but really the opportunity itself, opportunity really lies in the areas where you invest your time, your energy, and resources before seeking scholarships. Those are the areas where you invest your time, your energy, resources before seeking scholarships. Now, so I'm going to be talking about some of those real opportunities. The first thing is taking your academics seriously. And that's why I said a person who is still between 100 level and 300 level. Probably the interesting thing today is that most people are done, so you can't change this aspect again. Whatever your CGPA is, you can't change it again if you already graduated, right? So, but if you are still, for the person that is staying in the university currently, please take your academics serious. Many people are going to tell you, oh, CGPA doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It does matter. Take it seriously. This is the opportunity you have to really make it really great. Of course, for someone like Aminat that invited me to this event, she finished with a first class. I didn't finish with a first class. Many of my friends did finish with a first class, but that is not enough to stop you if you know what you're doing. But I was in my bachelor's. I didn't finish with the first class in my bachelor's. For my master's, I had a perfect GPA of 5.0. So one thing is this, your CGPA at that level should not really affect you. I kind of did an analogy here that, for example, if you're in 100 level and you started with a 1.9, and maybe you now finish with a 3.51. Okay. Can the host give me co-host privilege so that I can mute people easily? I don't like distraction. All right. So if you're in 100 level and you are on a 1.9 and you finished muted. Okay. I think somebody muted me. All right. So if you're in 100 level and you started with a 1.9 and you now finish with a 3.51, you are still in a good place to make your case if you're applying for scholarship than somebody that probably started with the 3.5 and ended with the 3.5. And not because it's not good, but somebody that started with a 1.9, you could state many reasons why you you had that kind of result, because they could see that change, they could see that trend. But in essence, what I'm saying is your result is not really what determines your future. What you finished with is not exactly a limitation to why you should not get scholarship. I've seen people with 3.5 get scholarship, even 2.2, even third class. So you should not limit yourself. But essentially what I'm saying is, if you still have opportunities to change things, make sure you take your CGPA seriously. All right. Then another thing is, unless local undergraduate scholarships, awards, such as Chevron, Agbami, those I'm still talking to those undergrads who are still in school. Unless those scholarships, I was on Agbami Chevron scholarship when I was in FUTA. So some of those things are part of what would help your application later in life, okay? So at some point when I was in school, I was paying my tuition myself. My friend didn't need to do that because I was on scholarships like this. So take advantage of this scholarship. If you have these scholarships now, it would be a build up on some of things scholarship offers you'll be getting later on in life, because you could refer to that. I got this award when I was in the university. I got this scholarship. So if those opportunities are everywhere, but many people don't know about them. So make sure you be on the lookout for it and apply for those. Then the second thing is collaborate with researchers. Collaborate with professionals within your area of interest. Maybe your area of interest is you're interested in tumor, you are researching on tumor, maybe cancer, maybe your research interest is on water, like what I'm doing. Try to collaborate with someone that the best person to do that with is always maybe a professor or whatever the case is. Your first focus is not on publication. Your first focus is on collaboration. People know if all you're after is just to publish paper. Your first focus is to develop a good relationship with the person and to ensure that you are getting the best from it. Publications will always be a plus to that effort. And the next thing you should always do is try to see if you can work on your bachelor's thesis. If you have that, try to see if you can publish that. Speak to your professor and ensure you publish. You want to build that cordial relationship with your professor. You would always need them as you continue to progress on your journey, whether to master's or PhD or whatever the case is. So one thing that I'm saying, another thing that I'm saying there is build critical relationships. Build critical relationships. This is really very key, because when the going gets tough, you are really going to need people. I tell you, you're really going to need people. There was a time in my life as well that I was looking for scholarships, okay, because I had finished 2016, but I mean, I served for a year, all through 2017, I was serving. But between 2018 and 2019, I was doing my master's in full-time, but I wasn't really so much focused on it. I was applying for scholarship as I was doing that. And eventually I got a scholarship. But that journey wouldn't have been easy if I wasn't in a tribe. What I call a tribe. My friend then, Filani, and he's also doing his PhD currently at UC Davis in California. So we had a journey, but one thing was that we were there for each other. So you need those critical relationships, a tribe, your friend. Find friends that you have the same vision, the same core vision. You are passionate about the same thing. You really want to change. Sometimes if you see some of the way we talk to ourselves, myself and my friend, and the way we talk to ourselves many times, just say, okay, this is what we are doing. This is what we'll become. So we see the future even before it came. We knew we were going to get scholarship. As our day, we're telling ourselves that we know that someone is going to pay us to study. And that was what happened for our master's and for our PhD. For our PhD currently. Join communities like this. I mean, some of you are already part of this community now, and this is great. Join communities like this, learn from people, opportunities, people who post up. You can't know everything. There are many opportunities that are benefited from today. It is by virtue of relationship that I got that. There's a fellowship that I'm on currently, FAR Fellowship. It's fellowship for PhD students here in the US. I got that because of my relationship with my professor, okay? She just said, oh, Tuyi, you're good for you can apply for this. There are awards that she had decided to nominate me for just because of that. So your professors, you have to build a very good, your professors during your undergrad, you can't just tell a professor, can you write me a recommendation? Like somebody you've not talked to in about 10 months, all of a sudden you're writing him that I need to get, no, you should greet them once in a while, send them text messages. I mean, recently I had to get a recommendation from my dean back in Hungary. I mean, I had to write him, hey, I needed a recommendation letter. And he said, oh, I'm willing to write that for you. So you need to ensure you don't burn any bridges. Like you finish from undergrad, you abuse all your professor. That's not how to do it. Or you start mounting them on social media, talking about how bad all the professors in your department are. No. You're not going to do things that way. So don't burn any bridge. Make sure you still maintain those relationships. Greet them once in a while. During Christmas, during New Year, send them messages. So later on, when you're asking for recommendation, they would be willing to do it. Your bosses, for those that are already working, make sure you have that solid relationship. You never can tell who will help you. So never, never take any relationship for granted. I beg of you. That is one of the key opportunities that many people don't know. There are many things that money cannot buy, that relationship will buy for you. So I just want to say that. So one thing also is volunteering, okay? So you have to be willing to volunteer. I mean, for the organizer of this program, they are volunteering to do this now. It's not something they're being paid for. So, and that's the same thing. You need that thing inside of you that just want to help people, whether you are being paid or not. Choose to volunteer. There are many opportunities to volunteer. Look forward to international international opportunities as well. I mean, United Nations, SDG. I was part of SDG during my service here. Engineers Without Border. I think it was Peter I was telling about Engineers Without Border recently. I might be biased with some of the suggestions I'm making because I'm in engineering. I love water-related things a lot. So Thought for Food, Red Cross, all of those things. So JCI, I know there was a guy that was part of JCI when we were on campus. So, but volunteer, do things that you are not being paid for, and make sure you track what you are doing there. Don't just go there. Be intentional about being part of what they are doing. Volunteer that, okay, I want to coordinate this. Okay, I want to do this. There's a problem in your environment. Maybe there's a waste that has been sitting somewhere. You just decide, okay, I will coordinate with some guys in the environment and would remove that waste. That may be part of your motivation letter later on in the future. Maybe there is a damage to road. You don't have to pay for it yourself. You could coordinate fundraising. That's a skill that anybody will like, that you're able to raise funds to wherever deal with the problem with the road, and you're not fixing the road yourself. Maybe get the help of other people. That's team lead already. You're already leading a team. Okay, so just volunteer, see problem, try to solve problem. Make sure you never stop solving problem. When you see it, don't stop solving it, regardless of where you are. There are many virtual opportunities for you to volunteer now, to be part of international organizations. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Okay, so be a leader somewhere. That's another thing I'll tell you. Be a leader somewhere. Make sure you lead. Beyond just volunteering, beyond just being a face in the crowd, you also want to volunteer. You also want to be a leader. I mean, for those that are still in school, maybe class captain, fellowship leader, all of those things that you can be. If you have the vibe for SUG, be part of it. But I mean, don't get distracted with your academics. You are still in school. If you're out of school, you can still take up leadership responsibility. Okay, so just make sure you don't shy away from that, because those are part of the things that will matter later on in your applications. You see, when you're applying for offers in the US applications are holistic. They look at many things. So you see, by the time you have all of this, you probably will be applying, and many people will really want you, because they understand that you have beyond just academic, you have beyond just publication, you have beyond just research. You have a leadership skills that people don't usually have. Many people, even that are citizens of US, don't have some of the things I'm discussing with you. Some of them, you see them, oh, I'm not interested. Oh, I don't like that, and things like that. But there are things that people over here look for, because leadership, if you have that leadership, because your professor must be able to trust you with that leadership skill. So if there's a research you need to do in your lab, can he or she just say, hey, I know that you can handle that. That's because of the skills that you've acquired over time. So take up that leadership role. It will be important. Get certified, either by taking professional certification, which is always expensive for people in the IT. I believe there are a host of certifications you can take. If you are in engineering, maybe there are a couple of them too. But aside those certifications you need to take, maybe NSC also, all of those ones also do certifications. But aside those certifications, take mock courses as well. Okay, take more courses. Many of them are free. For LinkedIn Learning, I believe it's free with if your university actually subscribe to that. Then Coursera has an education version of that the university, different universities subscribes to. Then there are times that opportunity comes. For example, recently there was an Access Bank scholarship that was just for Udacity. They had a collaboration with Udacity. Access Bank is in Nigeria. So they wanted to train people in the area of data science and many more topics like that. So those are things you want to be part of, cybersecurity. So you want to take those, even if that is not your field. We know that where the world is leaning towards now is artificial intelligence, basic programming language. That's a mistake there. There are most of them offer them free. Take advantage of it. Udemy, S3 is for GIS if you have interest in that. Again, I'll say that I might be biased because of the kind of study I do. So S3 might be important for some people. Google also has a lot of certifications you can take. These are things that will make your CV stand out, that will make your application stand out when you talk about some of the certifications you've had. Take certifications in the areas that you feel you want to progress on. Maybe you want to do your PhD in that area, you want to do your master's in that area. Take certificate, data camp as well. Data is really everywhere now, so you have to take something around data. At least, I would say know at least how to use a programming language, even if it's hard. R is probably the basic, even if it's hard. If you can use Python, that's an added advantage. But if you can't use those things, make sure you at least take a mock course on it. It will be one of the medals on your belt. So you could say, yes, I have this certification in this area. Then another thing is join professional organization, either local or international, and be active there. So it's not enough for you to join professional organizations, but you have to be active there. For example, if you do anything related to civil engineering, American Society of Civil Engineers is completely free. If you do anything related to that, even if you're in Nigeria, as long as you have a university mail, you can be a member of that. You're already a member of an international organization that way. If you do anything related to remote sensing, spatial imagery, you can be part of International Society of, I think, remote sensing and photogrammetry or something. So it's also free. Nigerian Society of Engineers, Toastmaster, I think you have to pay. International Society for Data Science and Analytics, I would think maybe it's free as well. ASAB is not free. So just be on the lookout. American Society of American Dentists Association or something. I believe some of those are free, some of them are not free. So be on the lookout for organizations that are free. Local ones, even within Nigeria, be on the lookout for it. Be part of it, be active in those groups. Okay, so what you get from those organizations is you get to know about opportunities. You get to know about what people are doing. You get to know about new research. You get to learn new things. Okay, so a few of them are free for students. Make sure you have your university mail to get that done. So another thing is attend both international and local conferences. Okay, so local conferences usually they are free for students. They are free for people that just graduated. Make sure you, attend those conferences as much as possible. For example, POSIT in the US, POSIT used to be our studio conference before. There is usually a slot for people all over the world to apply for that free. So you have a scholarship for it. So you can apply for that and just World Water Conference. I was at World Water Conference in 2022. It was a sponsored trip from the US down to Senegal, both to and fro, my hotel stay, everything was sponsored. You could get a funding to attend that. It's going to be at Indonesia in 2024. So those are things you want to take advantage. There are opportunities out there, okay? Currently, a friend shared this with me. This is One Young World. That's an offer there. It's free as well. You can apply for that scholarship if you're able to travel to the event. That is great. Attend both local and international. If you have that, it would make you ready for the opportunity to apply. By the time you're applying for scholarship and you said, I've attended 1 Year World, I've attended this World Conference, I've attended this conference in US, this conference in UK, I presented at this. In fact, even the professors, they said, we can't afford to lose this one because, I mean, all of this are too much. Okay, so another thing is read books for you, because for you to prepare your applications effectively, you will do a lot of writing, because sometimes you might get rejection. Sometimes it's not always all the time that you might get a yes to an application. So read book, read and read. I don't want to suggest any book intentionally. I didn't want to do that. So listen to or follow programs or resources that will improve your critical thinking, that you can also learn new vocabularies, how to make use of them. You can think critically. I added 3 empty theses because 3 empty theses, Queensland University actually is the hub of 3 empty. So each university across the world send down their 3 empty participants over there. I mean, they send recording of their 3 empty videos over there to Queensland. So easily you can get opportunity, you can get videos from that 3 empty page on Queensland page and just watch those videos. That way you can learn what researches are trending. What are the researches that people are doing currently? How did these students explain them? Because they explained them in 3 minutes. So if people can explain those research in 3 minutes, they want to explain it in the most basic way. That way you can even pick inspiration about, maybe you have to write a research proposal. So listen to series of videos from that. That is great. TED Talks, I mean, if you want to learn variety of things, that's the best place to really get it from. Then you can learn critical skills. You can learn storytelling from TED Talks. Dragon Den, I added that because if you are kind of a business person, that would really be great. I get to learn a lot from that Dragon Den as well. So that's a great place also to be part of. So there are many other resources aside all of things I mentioned. Make sure you hunt for opportunities to learn. Read books, listen to those programs, and get better. Another thing is polish your social media space, presence, or whatever the case is. Make most use of your social media. Okay? I'll say that I've gotten, many people have always complained, oh, I don't like this, Facebook is a bad place. I've met people who are critical on my journey today that I met them on Facebook firsthand. There are people today that I spoke to on LinkedIn and we are doing great things now, okay? So because you definitely need to know how to use all these social media spaces for your good. You can go there and continue to watch skits all day and all night and be laughing and jesting and just yelling and all of those. That could be all you're doing with social media, but there are serious things happening there. Polish your social media space. I see people just get careless with LinkedIn, even post jokes on LinkedIn or politics. I'll just block you straight up when I see that. So that's not a place for that. Polish your space, your LinkedIn space. Follow people that are important. Follow people that talk about what you're interested in. I'm interested in scholarship. Follow people like that. Follow those that are talking about business opportunity, people talking about research. Follow professors. That way you can learn about what research is this person doing. Even talking to those professors, by the time you start making intelligent discussions with them on their comment page, so they want to know, really, who is Tuyi? Who is this Tuyi? Okay, by the time you start making intelligent discussion with them on their LinkedIn page, by the time you write a mail to them, it's just, well, okay, I think I already know this guy and things like that. So make sure you make, Twitter is a great place as well. The reason why I don't like Twitter is a little bit toxic. So if you can handle the toxicity of Twitter, just make sure you also take advantage of it, and Facebook as well, and the other platforms. But make sure you use it to your advantage. Don't just go there washing skills all day and all night. All right, so look for internship opportunities. This is always the hard one because Nigeria really doesn't make that easy. Or maybe if you are joining from another part of Africa, but look for opportunities, internship opportunities, if you can get that. In fact, even if you're a mechanical engineer, you can go to a mechanical workshop and do something. Sincerely, that may look really crude to you, but if you don't have a company to learn from, you can learn from that. By the time you are polishing it, you are not going to be saying that I went to a mechanical workshop, and you should be able to polish that you worked with so person. These were the things you learn. Okay, like I probably showed on one of the slides. This was the situation, this was the task, this is how you approach this, and these are the results you're able to get from it. So don't go after money when it comes to that. Money is good, is great. I mean, everybody likes that. But it would be great if you have both experience and money. But it will be very bad if money is all you're able to get from your internship, but you don't have that experience, because it's going to bounce back later. Go after internship opportunities. If you can't get internship opportunities in big companies, get it in startups. You can also get an online internship opportunity now. I mean, doing it virtually. There are a host of them. That's why I said you should take advantage of your LinkedIn page. So there are many opportunities like that you can take advantage of it. There is a job section on LinkedIn that makes you easily apply for offer. You can see internship that are in Nigeria. Go after, write companies. Feel free to write companies. This is what you need. Be sure you are building long-term relationships from those companies by the time you do your internship. Generate ideas while you are there. When you're in a company, the reason why you're there is to generate ideas. So start thinking about how they're doing their work currently. Maybe currently they produce agro-allied machines, so they design it, they fabricate it this way. And you feel that, okay, why not them do it this way? So if they do it this way, it might be better. You're already generating ideas. So if you think your CEO is a great person, you can discuss that with them. And that way they start seeing the pattern of your thinking and they know that you are great. When you're asking for recommendation from that CEO later on, he'll be more than willing to take you up and to write recommendation to you. So look for internship opportunities and take advantage of it. And the last thing I'm talking about is take GRE, TOEFL, IELTS if you need to. Now, if you already had all of things I talked about set, you have volunteering role, leadership role, you have certifications, you have your recommendations from your professors, they know you well, they know what you can do, they know the great work you do. In the end, you might not, you have a good CGPA at least. I mean, you have a great research out in terms of your publication, even if it's one. TOEFL and GRE may not always be necessary. It may not always be necessary. My friend at UC Davis, he didn't write any GRE or TOEFL or whatever. And he's currently at UC Davis studying. And there are many other people that I know like that. I know one of my mentee as well, who's currently also in the US. He also did not write anything, and he finished with a 2-1. So it has nothing to do with it's not only about this. So I added this last intentionally because I understand that it's always the first thing people always want to talk about. Do I need to write GRE? Do I need to write TOEFL? That's not the first thing. Focus on all these things. Develop yourself first. You may not necessarily have to write, but then if you have to write GRE and TOEFL, if you feel there's a school you are going after that needs that, write it, please, because it's going to be important. So some schools will waive it for you. Be on the lookout for that as well. Now, if you've done all those things, then every scholarship that I pointed out here, you're going to be a good fit for it. I added Education USA because I'm kind of categorizing all of US schools under it, whether you're applying for research assistantship, you're applying for teaching assistantship, you can fit under Education USA or whatever the case may be. So by the time you have everything set, you're already prepared to apply for scholarships. If you're able to get all of those opportunities in place, then you're in a better position to haze your application. And I'm looking forward to hearing all the great news from everyone that is connected today. And I believe at this point, I'll be answering questions if anyone have questions from the presentation so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the presentation. That was very, very insightful. So I think the audience, the prospective scholars have gained one or two things from here. Some of your points actually resonate very, very well with me when I was also on the scholarship journey. This journey, like you said, is intentional. So you don't just wake up one day that you are seeking scholarship and then starts reaching out to people. So, for example, let me just quickly give some examples. When I was in OAU, so I had to form a kind of a relationship with my lecturers, many of them, so who actually mentored me. So before I finished writing my project, we call it project. So I got an opportunity for a summer program in South Korea, Chonbuk National University. So, and that was actually inspired by a conversation I had with a lecturer I took as a mentor then. So if I do not have a kind of a relationship with that lecturer, so I wouldn't have had the opportunity of getting the summer program, which was like after that, it just opened floodgates of opportunities for me, going for Erasmus and then my PhD now, So yeah, please take all those for people that are currently in school now. Please be intentional with your relationship with the lecturers. Take some of them as your mentors. Reach out to them frequently, like the speaker already said. And also on Coursera, you can actually ask for financial aids on Coursera. So you just have to write some applications, and then sometimes they give 100%. That is, you are not going to pay anything for certificate after completing the course. But sometimes they give you like 75%. So, but you can also, like you said, Udemy, it's also a very, very good place too. So on the programming language, I can't emphasize this more. You have to whatever your choice of program is, it is very, very important to equip yourself with at least one of those tools for data analysis in your program. It is very, very important. Please try and take note of that. And also professional organizations, like you said, some of you that are related to maybe bioinformatics, we have the Nigerian Bioinformatics and Genomics Network. We also have the Genetic Society of America, Genetic Society UK. You can join them. They have discounts, 100% discount for people from low and middle income country. For the first year, you are going to be given 100% discount to join those groups. So yeah, it is very, very important to do that. Please, please, and please. And the use of social media, yeah, please use your social media very, very well. I will say I have some other examples. Also, the internship opportunity I got in Germany when I was in Germany. So it was through somebody I connected with on LinkedIn. So, and I interned with one of the top 2 breeding companies in the world, the Luman breeders. So it was, a kind of friend request, then continuous, checking in with them, asking for the advice, and then when I go to Germany, I just had, okay, I in this my program, we used to go on internship between this period and this period. Can I have an opportunity to intern in your company? And then, okay, she said, just send in your CV and copy these people. Then, they just invited me for the interview. Then, yeah, it was just conversational interview. And then after that, I got the internship. So it is very, very important. Please, take all these points that have been raised. It had helped me a lot. So please, if you have any questions now, please kindly signify, and then we are going to ask the speaker to answer your questions.
I saw a question on the chat from Shibueke. Abdulahid, are you currently in the US as well?
Yeah, I'm at Virginia Tech.
Okay, so I think you also can answer the question, but I'll answer it this way. So for R1 and R2, so I think if you're starting your journey, you can define what you want. If you started your journey very well in terms of becoming opportunity ready, like we talked about today, if you prepared enough, you can decide to say you want to attend Ivy League universities like Harvard, Yale, and all of those. You could make that decision. But make sure if you're applying for scholarships in the US, don't just put all your eggs in one basket, except if you are doing that by virtue of your faith to God and you felt like, okay, I'm going all out for this. So make sure you apply for different schools at different tiers. If you're applying for Ivy League, great, but also apply for schools. Maybe you said R1, R2. Make sure you split your applications between those. If you're applying for a school with high acceptance rates, maybe school with 90% acceptance rate, also apply. If you're applying to school with low acceptance rate, maybe like Harvard, maybe that is about 5% acceptance rate or 10%. You should also be applying to schools with probably 90%, that you know that your chances are higher. So how I want or how to really is not always what matters to me. What I always look forward to in a school is what kind of research do I want to do there? What kind of professor do I want to work with? Now, your professor is going to determine your success. Whether you do well or you don't, your professor is a critical factor on your success if you're doing PhD or you're doing masters. If anybody is going to fail, it's going to start from the kind of professor they have. So those are the two things you'll be considering, not maybe R1, R2. They are important eventually. If you have to choose between R1 and R2 and you have a good research already, a good research topic that you're working on, a good professor, and you have to still choose between R1 and R2, then go for the best. Now, if you're talking about paying application fee, now the gist that I'm going to give to you is you can pay for application to a school even if a professor has not responded to you. Now, for myself, I applied to 2 schools. I applied to University of Georgia and I applied to Iowa State when I started out. I was still my master's then. Like I said in my presentation, I was still 3 months to finishing my master's when I had gotten 2 offers from those 2 schools. So I stopped applying for anything after that. But those were the 2 places I applied to. So now for University of Georgia, there was a professor that already accepted that, okay, said, oh, you can go ahead and apply. But at Iowa State, there was no go ahead. I just applied because I liked some of the researches they were doing and what they were doing over there. So I just paid my application fee. So after I submitted my application, then my current professor now, she's the chair of the department. She reached out to me. She said, "Oh, see, I saw your application. Can we just have a talk?" That was how I started. When I spoke to her, I knew this is my professor. There's just no way around it because she was just amazing. That was the kind of person I wanted for my professor. I've spoken to the other professor and I said, no way. Even though he already accepted her, I was going to work with him and things like that. So I had to write him. So applying, if you've not gotten a response, but you feel that the school has what you are also passionate about, and there are some professors there. Professors could reach out to you eventually if they saw your profile, but that's not always the best way. The best way to really be guaranteed that you have an offer is that the professor already said, yes, I go ahead and apply. That's the best way, but that shouldn't stop you from applying to a school. Even if you don't have a professor, you can apply just believing that things definitely work out. I mean, I'm here at Iowa State currently. Nobody accepted me in the first place, but eventually my professor reached out to me when she saw my application. So that could be the same thing with you. So feel free to apply. Then Nigerian dominated areas. Sincerely, I don't care in my case, but for ladies, usually they care about that a lot because ladies love community a lot. They love talking to people. They love gisting and things like that. Because I have a colleague who once said that don't ever go to a school where there are not men in Nigeria. But really, I don't care too much about that. But it's something important. The reason why that is important is because there will be tough times, most especially when you want to transition into US. Especially if you are coming from Nigeria. Currently, $1 is probably about 800 naira or more than that. Oh, sorry, 1,000. It's currently $1 is 1,000. So that means if you are coming with 100,000 from Nigeria, by the time you get over here, it's just $100 or thereabouts. So $100 cannot suffice you here. So definitely you need a community. That's why people will tell you should go to a school that you have Nigerians at least, or you have Africans there. But it's not always the case. If you go to a school without Africans or Nigerian, you can go and start over there. And one thing I want to tell you is this. I don't think there's any school in the US that you find in Nigeria. When my friend was to go to UC Davis, he was saying, oh, no Nigeria. I said, okay, no Nigeria. Okay. By the time he got there, and the community is so serious. They have a lot of Nigerians and Africa over there. So that's it. You would always have Nigerians. They may not be the social media freak kind of person, but people would always be there. So if you feel that's something important to you, community is something important to you, you always want to interact with people, you can't do without talking and gisting in a day. I think for ladies, usually it's good you go to a place that at least you have a couple of nights, but that shouldn't be your focus. Like I said, your focus should always be, where am I going? What's my research interest? What kind of professor am I going to be working with? And then what kind of university is it? And things like that. So that's just my advice from that. So if you have any follow-up, just let me know.
Okay. Thank you for the response. I just have an addition to the R1 and R2. I sent a message to the group giving you the list of R1 universities. So yeah, it's just like research intensive universities, universities that are involved in a lot of research extensively. They are the one that are called the R1. Then the R2 are just less intensive, less research intensive. So yeah, and in my own view, they come in handy when you are, looking at the funding opportunities, because where you have research going on, a lot of research opportunities going on, and that is where you have funding for the students. So yeah, The other ones, the R2 also have funding, but they do not have funding up to the level of R1 university. So like you said, you can mix them up, choosing from R1 universities and R2 universities. I will send the link for the R2 university too, but I've sent the one for R1 universities. You can check it out. So then the next question was, what is code mail? Like, what is the best way to structure my code mails to professors? Then I think there was another one that was like very similar to that. Like, can you code mail different professors in the same school?
Okay.
That was the question. Yeah.
So I'll start from the last one. Yes and no. Okay, so the last one is a little bit tricky because I know within my department, for example, professors talk to each other. I mean, I know all of those. It's like a web. They talk to each other. So if you write the professor, you might discuss your matter with another person with the intention that they are recommending you. So what I would say is, if you send a code mail to a professor, wait for about at least maybe 5 days space in between each other before you send to another professor in that department. So if that professor now eventually responds, that's fine. But if you have a ongoing discussion with a professor and you are initiating another conversation with another professor, in fact, if a professor didn't respond to you the same day, forget it. It's not likely. Or maybe 2 days or 3 days, I mean, if it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's not like, except if they're on a holiday and they need to respond to you. Because many times when I meet with my professor and I see a mail, she's trying to look for my mail. She's just scrolling. You see all sort of mails. So they decide what they want to respond to, but they see it. So sometimes they also have times that they respond to those inquiries about students who want to get into the US. So what I'll say is do that with wisdom. Don't just start writing all the professors together because they talk to each other about people. It becomes an issue if 2 of them now becomes interested in you. So just ensure that you write them and put space between it. If you have an ongoing discussion, do not initiate another one with a different professor. So then, okay, so someone is asking about code mail. What is that? Well, code mail is just, I mean, just what we've explained. It's just basically you're trying to write a professor. They don't know you. You're just writing them with intent that you want to get an offer. You are trying to paint a picture of who you are as simple as possible and as catchy as possible. You want to make it catchy such that when they see that mail, they are not going to take their eye off it. So in that mail, usually that's where you talk about all your high points, all your achievement, all your awards. But you have to talk about it in a very short mail. Usually, I mean, if you finish with let's say, for your bachelor's, you finish, like you could say, oh, I finished in the top 1% of my graduating class. And during my master's, I had a perfect GPA of 5.0. Things like that. I worked on this research, and this is why it will be beneficial to your current research. Read about their publications. Usually, I don't advise you read more than 2 or 3. Just read about their research that applies to you, that applies to your work or what you want to do. Read about the research and try to fit what you've done into their research through their publication. In fact, it shouldn't be more than 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph is more about introduction about yourself. The second paragraph should deal with the research you've done, linking it with their research. And the third paragraph should just be you thanking them, appreciating them because they're going to reach back to you. If it's longer than that, they won't read it. So keep it as simple as possible. So I believe I don't know if the group has done anything on that, but there are a host of videos out there on how to write code mails. Yeah, I believe we've also done something similar to that. Okay, so I think I know the person asking this question, so I can always get back to the person as well. So those are basically the structure. Just keep it as simple as possible and make sure those things are there. Introduction about yourself. Talk about all your high points, your awards, your achievements in a very short way. And talk about the research you've done and how that research connects to what the professor is working on and how you feel you would do great. Tell them how well you would do great by the time you start that research. Okay, and that way they will get back to you. But don't really get discouraged. If some people tell you, I was talking to someone who currently works in my department, he's doing his master's. He told me that he wrote more than 300 professors and he only got one response out of all those. But I've seen people that told me, I said, oh, I've written 5 professors and I didn't get any. I'm just like, wow, really? You wrote 5? Are you already tired? You don't have to be discouraged, even if people don't respond to you, okay? So just keep on sending those code mails and get help. If you feel you're not getting it, get help. Let people review it for you. You can send that mail to maybe Abdul Aid, or maybe is it Deborah, who was the person that started the introduction there. Send it to people that can help you. Yeah, I believe I can always also help review such. So reach out to me via my LinkedIn if you feel you need somebody to check it for you. But it's good you have that oversight before you send it out. But keep it simple and catchy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the for the response. I think we still have another question saying how to prepare, like they're having a meeting with a professor. How do you prepare? And you're applying for a PhD with a bachelor from Nigeria. What's the best way to prepare if you have little difficulties considering some of their recent publications?
Yeah, so I think we mixed the question. Somebody's Precious is asking a question. Did you see that? Quite Precious Morenka.
Okay,
So she's asking, is it better to present your GPA in Nigerian scale? I presented my results in Nigerian scale. But if you can get a West evaluation, it's an headache in Nigeria to get West evaluation because of the fact that they also need your WAEC results. You have to do that in Lagos. If you can do West evaluation, it's great. So do it. It's expensive first. I think it's $200. So that's about 200,000 in Nigeria currently. So it's expensive. So if you can avoid it, please do so. There are many schools that won't ask for West evaluation. So don't waste your time trying to spend the money on that. So there are many schools that would accept your GPA just the way it is. So I would advise you, if you can do without it, please do so. That's my answer for that. Then Emmanuel is asking, must someone with MSc spend 5 years for PhD in the US? If your MSc is in the US, I've seen somebody that he did his PhD for 2 years. He was in my office. He finished his PhD under 2 years. He did his master's in the same department and did his PhD. So because his PhD was a continuation of his master's, and again, there are a lot of complications. His professor was finishing, leaving the university, and they needed to round up his PhD quickly. So he did his PhD under 2 years. So you could round up your PhD as quickly as you want to be, really. Well, I could have done my PhD for 3 years because, I mean, I had everything. I did my master's already, but I got a fellowship recently. That was an addition. And again, so it just, so it was more of a decision I had to make to kind of spend the number of years I want to spend, like 4 years. So you could do it in 3 years. So you don't have to spend 5 years. But again, I need to say this. If you are in anything related to life sciences, engineering finishes fast. I'm in engineering. We finish very fast under 3 years. But if you're in life sciences, like people that deal with life, maybe animals, plants, you do some culturing of microbes that can fail anytime. See, 5 years the legality, it cannot, because for many of those people, I've seen them, it's always, even their third year, they are still trying to, they're still trying to caution their thing in the lab. So if you are really in that area where you have to deal with animal culture things, you deal with life. And so sometimes some of those, the treatment effect, you can't really feel it maybe until the third, fourth year. So you have to discuss that with your professor, what amount of year, depending on the kind of research you're working on. So please, 5 years really is not that long, but if you can also spend lesser than that, depending on the kind of research you're working on. Sure, I needed to say that, but you can do your PhD in 2 years, 3 years, if you've done your master's. Okay, that answers that question, I believe.
Yeah, so let me chip in with the CGPA conversion. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that with Scholaro Calculator. Scholaro Calculator has a free version that you can actually use. Some of my application, I actually use them for the conversion, because there are some some people pirate some things. I send the link now to the chat that this is how you convert from Nigerian to the American GPA. But those kinds of conversion actually underestimates your GPA. And actually, it affected one of my applications. When I was applying for a PhD, I applied to Cold Spring Alcohol Laboratories. If you are in life sciences, you know it's a very, very top research institution in the US. So, and then they said we should convert, GPA to US equivalents. Then I use that as a conversion. But when I found out that I wasn't even called for an interview, though the competition for the PhD program is very, very stiff, because they only have 6 space or slots for the PhD. So, and then I use that to actually shortchange myself. So please, if they do not ask for West evaluation and they want a US equivalent version of your CGPA, please use this Scholaro. It's like a lot of universities actually accept them officially. So yeah, please do that. And then the next question was about the interview. Someone having interviewed and having difficulties with some of the recent publication of the professor. How do you go about that?
I mean, I wish I know this person. I'll need to ask some questions. So what did you write in your when you were writing this professor? What did you write in your code mail? What did you say you can do? What are the things you said you can do? Because that is key. So now they are, so for most professors that wants to accept you into the US, they're not calling you to make you look stupid. They're not trying to do interview with you so that you can look stupid. Like, so that, what is this? What is Archimedes principle and all of those things? They are not trying to, that's not the kind of thing. They just want to know how do you think? That's what they're just dealing with. How do you think with this person? In fact, most professors that are good usually will talk about you, not about what you can do. They want to know you really. And from talking about yourself, you could win their hearts already. That's the first question they would always ask. The first thing they would do is introduce themselves. Then they will tell you, who are you? I mean, I know you had your details on your motivation letter, but can you tell me about yourself? That's the first thing they always want to know. So you can win their heart already with that. Practice that very well. Now, reading publication is hard, even for PhD students. I don't know for but reading publication is not something easy. Okay, so sometimes there are some publications that You have to read more than once to really understand what they are doing. So please, if there's any area of his work that is, don't try to read everything, even if it's 2. I don't know how much of time you still have, but I would say you should at least try to see. This is how reading publication works. Read the abstracts first. So when you read the abstracts, try to skim through the introduction. Don't read everything. Don't bother yourself about reading the methods because it might confuse you. So check all the graphs alone on results. Don't check any other things. Don't try to check the explanation on the statistics and all. Don't read discussion. Just check the graphs. Try to link that up with abstract. Many of the time from abstract, I already know what people are trying to do. If you know things about the abstract, it's enough for you to connect that with what you've done. So if you've not done anything around it, don't tell lies. Just by the time you meet them, if they ask you anything regarding that, just tell them that, oh, I've worked in this area and I feel it might be relevant for what you're talking about, but I've not worked there. So I'm a fast learner. So I would learn very fast by the time I get to your lab. And I'm sure you would really enjoy working with me and things like that. Just evade that question honorably. Don't try to be answering what you don't know, but try to still get your way around reading that publication, even if it's the abstract that you can understand. But reading reading journals, it can be hard sometimes. You just try to see that you find your way around it. Practice things that are peculiar to you, like who are you, where have you been. Practice that, master that. When they are hard with that when they start asking other questions, then you can answer them. Yeah, so that's just the way I will answer that question. So yeah, that's the way I'll answer that question.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the feedback on the question. So yeah, so I said most of it. You just have to there are some papers you have to read times and times again before you could actually understand what is actually being said in the paper. So and then try and look at if are there gaps in the research, do they talk about some shortcomings of the research or the gaps that will actually be filled, and how you think you could actually come in filling that gap too. So yeah, that could also help. Also have some thoughtful questions for the professor based on the reading you have. And then yeah, so I think that will help you really a lot. And I sent a Google Doc link to the group chat, so where you could see some of the potential questions that you will be asked and how you are going to answer them, and also potential questions that you could ask. The interview is not one way. Don't let it be one way. It's two-way thing. You want to work with them, they want you, and then you have to ask them some thoughtful questions and let them see the stuff you are made of. So don't let it be one way, please. So just check the Google Doc. So then we have a question about GRE. I think let me just combine these two questions and then we are going to just wrap it up here. So do we necessarily need to have GRE score for most scholarship? I think the speaker already talked about that. Do we necessarily need to have GRE score for most scholarships applications in the US or Canada? And then this question was for me to the moderator. Does US value degrees from Korea, like MSc? Okay. Yeah, so I think the speaker can answer the first question, but I think you've talked about it in your presentation also. So yeah.
So I don't know.
Please go
Somebody
ahead.
is also raising up her hand. I don't know if she, if we want to allow
Okay.
her to ask her question.
Okay, please go ahead. Yeah.
Rachel.
So, Rachel,
Oh, good afternoon, sir. No, good day, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I want to ask you a question, sir, because my own, I tell with electrical, because I'm not sure by now. I tell with electrical, my own. So when I apply for my BNG workers friend, so for my BNG, I have agreed and about something. But I still have passion for sustainable energy. So I also want to apply.
I think I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I'm hearing you clearly. I don't know if it's only me, but you should try to move closer to your speaker and speak louder.
Okay, yes. I said I have OND in electrical electronics, sir.
Awesome, awesome. That's better.
Okay, and my BNG in agric and bioresources engineering, sir.
Okay.
So I want to apply for graduate assistance in Canada. But I'm now contemplating that to pursue my passion, which is sustainable energy, or work with or food processing because of my BNG. So I'm having a struggle with that, so that will.
I don't know. I think we lost your connection. But again, what I'll say with that question you're asking is that may not be a discussion we can really have on this platform because it will be a long one, because I'll need to ask you serious questions to know what exactly have you done for your OND and what you've done for your bachelor. So what I would say is feel free to write me on LinkedIn and I'll answer that questions, because I'll ask you questions to be sure what exactly have you done and why, what do you want to do now, and how that would impact the choice of the masters you want to do. But again, so if we have you again, maybe we can discuss more on that. Okay. So the question around application waiver, somebody was asking about that. So you can request an application waiver. Don't ask for funding in your code mail. When you're sending code mail, please don't include funding. If you include funding, it's already a red flag. That what you're looking for is money. So when you're writing your code mail, don't talk about funding, because eventually they know that any student writing them also thinks about funding. Actually, in the US, professors have obligations to fund the research that you are working on. I mean, your PhD or your master's. So if they can't fund it, by the time discussion starts, they're going to tell you, oh, I don't have funding. They will tell you up front. So if they don't have funding, they will already tell you. So don't tell them in the code mail. What you want to do with your code mail is win their heart over for them to respond to you, not for you to be asking them for money. So wait till they respond before you even talk about money. And they will be the one to bring it up, because they know that you are looking for money. All right. So do we necessarily need GRE score for most scholarship application to US? Oh, that has been answered already. Does US value degrees from Korea? I think US values degree from all the countries.
Yeah.
As long as the universities are accredited.
Yeah.
But if the university is not accredited, because eventually you will still submit your transcript when you get over here. If it's not accredited, you're on your own. Europe uses a system that is different from the US. When I came, all my credits, the credits I transferred, for example, maybe I transferred a 5 credits, US took it as a 2.5, a 4 credit as a 2. It was half of it. So that differences might be there, but as long as the university is accredited, whether in Korea or China, whatever it is, I mean, people are coming from those countries to even study here now. I mean, I have colleagues that are from South Korea. not North Korea. Nobody lives in North Korea. And nobody comes out of North Korea. Okay, I believe you're also in South Korea. All right. Okay, somebody's asking for my LinkedIn. Oh, resend the Google link. Okay, I think he has resent it.
Yeah, so I just have a little information for everyone. Please be informed that the OAU Graduate Scholarship Forum has a YouTube account called, let me just paste it to the
I'm going to get
this is the yeah, it is called OAU Graduate Scholars Forum on YouTube. Please try and visit that. Check the videos that are there. We also need some volunteers to rewatch the video upload on the page, and also for people who have skills in video editing, who can help in editing the videos. And please, if you are interested in volunteering for this, please reach out to us on oauscholarsforum@gmail.com. oauscholarsforum@gmail.com. Let me write it. OAU.
So do we still have time, or we are done?
We are about to be done with everything. So I think I just resent the link for Google Drive, and I talked about the page on YouTube for the OAU Graduate Scholars Forum. And if you are willing to volunteer, just reach out to the email I just sent now. So let's just take this one last question. Yeah, does having undergraduates in developed countries puts one at the disadvantage for need-based scholarships like Commonwealth?
So, well, I feel there are some scholarships that studying in the developed country may kind of limit you applying for that scholarship. So I think the one thing you need to do is check the requirements for those applications, then write the program director for the scholarship. Usually one thing is you can never go wrong asking questions. Even in the US, if anything comes up and you feel you're confused about anything, ask questions from the program directors, they will guide you. But one thing is, I know there are most of the scholarships, like, for example, like Erasmus or Commonwealth, some of those scholarships usually want you to kind of be coming from a developing countries. In fact, Commonwealth shared is always developing country thing. So I don't know if studying in a developed country might hinder you, but I've seen somebody who studied in a developed country then got Erasmus. So
Yeah,
you should just check with the program director.
Yeah, Erasmus does not have that kind of
That restriction.
limitation. Yeah. So you can come from anywhere. I've seen people studied having their undergrad in Turkey, outside in Europe, and still getting.
I know somebody as well.
Yeah, so it has no restriction as to where you had your undergrad, because it's I don't think it's really needs-based. It's by it's based on
Yeah, Erasmus is not need-based. But
it's
Commonwealth,
not
but the
needs-based.
specific Commonwealth I mentioned need-based.
Yes.
Might be. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
But it might be like MasterCard currently. I don't think you can apply for MasterCard, for example, because MasterCard really is need-based a lot because they want to be sure that you can, because they would even ask for the financial status of your parents, of wow, do they have a car, do they have a house? They need those details because they want to be sure you're not rich and trying to get scholarship. So MasterCard is need-based, and maybe the Commonwealth. So please check with the program director. That's what I would say.
So I think we've reached the convenient spot to actually call it a day on the seminar, for the seminar. So thank you so much, Oluwatuyi, for the great session and insights, and also for everyone who participated in the seminar. So I hope in one way or the other, you've gained some very important information and insights as to how to position yourself for graduate opportunities outside Nigeria. So please try as much as possible to work on those areas that you see you are not, maybe you don't have the what's it called currently. So those that you have, please work on them to advance them, to fine-tune them. Those that you don't have, please try as much as possible to work to have them, to position yourself, because competition is really getting very serious for graduate school scholarships. So you want to position yourself on the top ladder of the preferred candidates for each position. So with that being said, I want to thank the speaker again, Oluwatuyi, for your time and the great insights you've given to the people, and every other members of the OAU Graduate Scholars Forum, and the participants too. Please try as much as possible to work on what we've done here today, and I wish you all a successful graduate school application. Thank you all.